everyone. In this session, we are going to discuss about semiconductor chapter. Semiconductor. So, CET questions. Okay. So, let us see some synopsis about the semiconductor chapter. Basically, electronics deals with the fabrication and application of various electronic devices. The branch of electronics which deals with semiconductor device is called solid state electronics, or also called as semiconductor electronics. In this semiconductor chapter, we are going to discuss about the energy band. So the energy band means here the range of energies the electrons of particular orbit in atom of solid can be processed is called energy band. So there are three types of energy band. One is valence band. Second one, conduction band. Third one, forbidden band. The range of energy values occupied by valence electron is called valence band. The range of energy values occupied by conduction electron is known as conduction band. The separation between valence band and the conduction band is called here forbidden band. So on the basis of energy band, so we are going to distinguish conductor, insulator and semiconductor. Conductor, insulator and semiconductor. The value of Eg, so that is the energy band gap value, Eg is, so here approximately equals to what? 0. Means here 0 means in the sense it is overlap with each other. So therefore it is taken as here conductor. In insulator, the Eg value is very much greater than 3 electron volt. So therefore it is called as insulator. And in semiconductor, the Eg value is very much less than 3 electron volt. So it is taken as a semiconductor. Then semiconductor, so it is classified into two types. One is intrinsic semiconductor, another one is the extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor, it is a pure form of semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductor. Okay, so here pure form of semiconductor is known as intrinsic semiconductor. So example is here silicon or germanium. Similarly, the extrinsic semiconductor, so it is a doped. So it is doped with some other impurities. So that is called as here extrinsic semiconductor. So whereas a pure semiconductor, so this is the pure semiconductor, so it is controlled by the amount of impurities added to intrinsic semiconductor. So that is here extrinsic semiconductor. The process of controlling, so the process of controlled addition of impurity to a pure semiconductor is called as here doping. And impurity added to a pure semiconductor is called as here dopant. Again, extrinsic semiconductor, it is classified into two types. One is the N type, another one is here p-type semiconductor. One is the n-type, another one is here p-type semiconductor. So n stands for here the negative energy. So therefore here the electrons are the majority charge carrier, and in the p-type here the holes are the majority charge carrier. So the holes we are going to take it is as a, so that is almost as here positive charges. Okay, so again here n-type, where the conductivity is relatively more, where in the p-type conductivity is relatively less. Okay, so next the p-n junction, where so the junction between p-type and n-type semiconducting material, so that is here p-n junction. So the junction between p-type and n-type of the semiconducting material. So therefore in that one is the forward bias, another one is the reverse bias. So forward bias and one is the forward bias, another one reversed bias. So in forward bias, the external voltage, so that is whatever the external current, the P is connected to the positive terminal of the battery and N is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. That is called as your forward bias. And whereas in the case of reverse, the V type is connected to the negative terminal of the battery and N type is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. So last already in detail we are studied in the previous section. Next one is here the optoelectronics junction devices. One is the light emitting diode, another one is photodiodes, the next one is the solar cells. So in light emitting diodes, so that is the BN junction diode that emits light when it is forward bias, right? Some of the colors, it is gallium arsenide which emits the infrared radiation, gallium arsenide phosphate which emits the red or yellow, where gallium phosphate which emits the red or green, so gallium nitrate which emits the blue color. So some of the applications of LED, so we are going to use in as an indicator, so optical fiber communication, in burglar alarm system and CD player, as well as in the remote control. Then is the photodiode. The photodiode is a PN junction diode in which the reverse saturation current here increases when it is illuminated with light. So therefore there are some applications of the photodiodes. They are used in optical fiber communication to measure the intensity of radiation, as light meters in camera, switching circuits, and as well as in the spacecraft and solar panel. The last one is here solar cells. So solar cells is basically a PN junction which generates EMF when solar radiations fall on the PN junction. So some of the applications of solar cells, they are used in electronic devices in satellite, as space vehicle, and solar cells are also used in supply power to some calculator or wristwatch. So solar cells are also used for supply of traffic signals and supply for power to the remote areas where electric power supply is not available. Solar cells are used in light meters in photography. Okay, so these are some applications of the PN junction. The next one is here the digital electronics. So digital electronics, the branch of electronics which is divided into here two groups. So one is the analog, another one is the digital. So analog, another one is here digital. So analog or digital, so there are the two types. So here the digital system we are going to use here to binary system. The binary system is here 0 or 1. So there are the two. So these two only values. So that is we considered as here the binary values. So whatever the values we are going to consider in a binary, there are the two numbers. One is here 0, another one is here 1. So 0 as well as represent low. Okay, so or maybe a false. So 1 indicates high or maybe a right. Okay, like that So the indication of 0 and 1, and also 0 represent for here off and 1 represent for here on, like that. So then, so there are some basic logic gates. One is here AND gate, OR gate and NOT gate. So AND gate, so y is equal to a dot b. The symbolical representation is like this. So here, okay, for the OR gate, y is equal to a plus b. So like here, this is the indication. So last one is here NOT gate. So y is equal to, if it is a, means the output is a bar. So therefore the indication of NOT gate is here like this. So with respect to the truth table, we have studied in the last previous section. Now let us moving out to the some questions on semiconductor. Okay, these are the some CET questions on semiconductor chapter. So let us see the first one. In an N-type silicon, which of the following statement is true? Option A, electrons are majority charge carrier and trivalent atoms are the dopant. The option B, electrons are minority carrier and pentavalent atoms are the dopant. Option C, holes are majority carriers and pentavalent atoms are the dopant. The fourth option, that is D, holes are majority carriers and trivalent atoms are the dopant. Here the answer is C. This is the answer here, C. Why? Because in an N-type semiconductor, it is obtained by doping germanium or silicon with pentavalent atoms. In N-type semiconductor, electrons are majority charge carriers, holes are minority charge carriers. So therefore, holes are minority carriers and pentavalent atoms are the dopant here. Let us moving on to the next question. The correct relation between Ne. Okay, the correct relation between Ne and NH. So NH is the electron density and hole density in an intrinsic semiconductor at ordinary temperature is. So at ordinary temperature, what happens to the density of the electron and density of the hole? So therefore here the option A is here, Ne is greater than NH. The option B, Ne is less than NH. The option C, Ne is equal to NH. And last option, Ne is equal to NH is equal to 0. The here answer is C. Here answer is C. Why? Because here at ordinary temperature, so Ne is equal to NH. Okay. So because of what? In intrinsic semiconductor. Because of that reason, here the answer is C. Ne is equal to NH. Next, the third question. The relation between number of free electrons. So that is number of free electrons here denoted by N is a semiconductor and temperature T is given by. So what is the relation we have to between the N number, here this is the number, N number of the electrons, free electrons is semiconductor and temperature T. So the relation between N and T. The option A is here N proportional to T. Second option N proportional to T square. Third one N proportional to square root of T. The option D is here N proportional to the T power 3 by 2. So of 3 by 2. So we let us also solve here. So for semiconductor, n is equal to a to the power of 3 by 2 into exponential of Eg by 2 kt. So this is the standard formula. So that is n is equal to a into t to the power of 3 by 2 e to the power of minus Eg by 2 kt. So therefore from this relation, so n is proportional to t to the power of 3 by 2. So therefore what is the answer is here? The answer is option D. N is proportional to t to the power of 3 by 2. So okay, the next question is here. The conductivity of a semiconductor increases with increase in temperature because the option is the number of density of free current carriers increases. Option B, relaxation time increases. The option C, both number density of carriers and relation time increases. And option D, the number of density of carrier increases, relaxation is time decreases. But effect of decreases in relaxation time much less than the increase in number density. So therefore, on the basis of the conductivity of a semiconductor increases with increase in temperature. So therefore, so with the knowledge of the relaxation time, but here the option, so on the basis of the semiconductor, the overall knowledge, we are going to answer the here question fourth one is here D. So where the number of density of carrier increases, obviously. So when we are going to heat the material, so if we are going to heat the material, so of the semiconductor material, here what happens, the charge carrier either maybe electrons or maybe a holes, here what happens, here charge carriers are increases. So therefore the relaxation time is here decreases. On that basis here conductivity is increases. So therefore the option D is here right answer. The next one is here, the ratio of electron and holes current in a semiconductor is 7 by 4 and the ratio of drift velocity of electron and hole is 5 by 4. Then the ratio of concentration of electrons and holes will be. So what happens to the ratio of electrons and holes? Okay. So now we have to solve this fifth question. For the fifth question, so what is here? The types of electrons and holes in a semiconductor is 7 by 4. So therefore here as we have to write it down the formula as I is equal to N A E into VD. So now here the current is directly proportional to number of density and drift velocity. Therefore IE by IH, we want the ratio of electrons to the hole. Therefore RE into VE divided by RH into VH. Okay. So therefore now NE by NH is equal to IE by IH into VH by VE. Okay. So now substitute the value of IE by IH and VE by VH. So therefore what we got, the value of is here given, one is 7 by 4. So that is the 7 by 4. Another one is here 5 by 4. The 7 by 4 and 5 by 4 is the velocity of the electron. This is the velocity of the electron. Another one velocity of holes. Okay. So now substitute. So 7 by 4 into 4. So it is in a reciprocal. Therefore 4 by 5. So the cross multiplication 4 gets cancelled. The answer is here 7 by 5. So whereas in the 7 by 5, the answer is here 7 by 5. So the option B is here right answer. Okay. So let us see the next one. A piece of copper and other of germanium are cooled from the room temperature to 80 K. So then the option is here resistance of each will increases. Option B, resistance of each will decreases. Option C, the resistance of copper will increases while that of germanium will decreases. Option D, the resistance of copper will decreases while that of germanium will increases. So let us think about the answer, sixth one here. So a piece of copper and other germanium cooled from the room temperature to 80 Kelvin. Okay, so room temperature means in Kelvin. So room temperature here is the 27 degrees Celsius. So I am only solving here only. So let us see here. So 27 degrees Celsius. If we are going to convert this one in a, so 27 plus 273. So that is we are going to convert Celsius into Kelvin. So we have to add the 273. So that is equal to 300 Kelvin. So now it is the room temperature. So 300 Kelvin. So what they are going to told here? We are going to cool. So that is we are going to cool. So that is the up to the 80K. So up to 80K. So if it is decreases from 300K to 80K. So what happens to the resistance of the copper or so that is the germanium material. So the temperature of coefficient of resistance of copper is positive and the germanium is here negative. So therefore the option here D is right. The resistance of copper will be decreases while germanium will increases. This is the answer. So why? Because temperature coefficient of resistance of copper is positive and germanium is negative. Okay. So let us moving on to the next one, that is seventh one. An N-type and a P-type silicon semiconductor can be obtained by doping pure silicon. So it is doping with pure silicon. N-type and P-type silicon semiconductor can be obtained by doping pure silicon with sodium and magnesium. Option B, phosphorus and boron respectively. Option C, boron and phosphorus respectively. So next, last one, indium and sodium respectively. So here is the option B, phosphorus and boron respectively. So why? Because here N type is the phosphorus and P type is the boron. So therefore it is the doping material. So already we are going to know that what is doping. That is the process of adding a impurity to a intrinsic semiconductor. So intrinsic semiconductor here is the pure form of semiconductor. If I am going to adding that impurity to this semiconducting material, it has become an extrinsic. So on the basis of majority charge carrier, N-type material and P-type materials are classified. So whereas why N-type? So therefore here electrons are the majority charge carrier, whereas in the P it is a holes are majority charge carrier. So that is again because of the adding the impurities of trivalent and pentavalent atoms. Okay, so therefore this is here phosphorus and boron respectively. So let us moving on to the next questions. Okay, the 8th question is here. The Fermi level of an intrinsic semiconductor is pinned at the center of the band gap. The probability of occupation of the highest electron state in valence band at room temperature will be option A 0, B between 0 and half. Option C half, option D is here 1. So what we are going to study here, that is the Fermi level of an intrinsic semiconductor. So in intrinsic semiconductor, it is pinned at the center of the band gap. So we are already know, so this is the valence band and this is the conduction band. So this is the valence band and this is the conduction band. So in between this gap it is here forbidden gap. The Fermi level, so like lies at the valence band, or it is in the case of intrinsic, or in the case of extrinsic it is at the upper to the valence band or lower to the conduction band, like that. So the probability of occupation of highest electron state in the valence band at room temperature will be. So what will be the answer here? So we are going to think about that. So here the probability of occupation of the highest electron state in the valence band at room temperature half according to the Fermi distribution. So what is the answer here? Answer is option C half. So therefore, because of what? The probability of occupation of the highest electron state in valence band at room temperature, because half according to Fermi distribution. The next question is, silicon specimen is made into a p-type semiconductor by doping on an average 1 indium atom per 5 into 10 raised to 5 silicon atom if the number of density of the atom in the silicon specimen is 5 into 10 raised to 28 atom per meter cube, then the number of acceptor atom in silicon per cubic centimeter will be. So now we have to here calculate. So that is we are going to directly calculate these values. So that is here the number of atoms in a silicon species is here 5 into 10 raised to 28 atoms per meter square, right? So then 5 into 10 raised to 7 silicon atoms. So the total number of indium atom doped per atom. So that the total number of indium atoms doped per centimeter cube of the silicon will be. So here n is equal to, so the power value should be, so n is equal to, so we are going to calculate, I already here the value of here n. So number of acceptor atoms in the silicon. So therefore here 5 into 10 raised to, so 22, so divided by 5 into 10 raised to 7. So therefore if we are going to calculate these two value, what we are going to get, 5 gets cancelled, so 10 raised to plus 22. So if you are going to 7 is upside, it is becomes minus 7. So 22 minus 7, it becomes 10 raised to 15. So therefore 1 into 10 raised to 15 atoms per cm cube. So here option is D is the right answer. So next one, the 3 photodiodes D1 and D2 and D3. Okay, so 3 photodiodes D1, D2 and D3. Okay, so are made up of semiconductor having band gap of 2.5 electron volt, 2 electron volt, 3 electron volt respectively. So which one will be able to detect light of wavelength of 600 Armstrong? So if you have to calculate here the energy of incident light photon. So the already we know the value of that is E is equal to here h nu, right? So the value of h is here. So what is the value of h? H is what here? Planck's constant. So value of Planck's is 6.625 into 10 raised to minus 34 joules second, right? So we have to substitute the value, and here then here it is, you have to calculate by c by lambda. So that is c, value of velocity of light c is equal to 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. So then we have to calculate the value. So if we are going to substitute all those value, then we got, so let us see here, h into nu. So that is, so h is constant, nu is equal to c by lambda into E. So if we are going to again remodified these values, again we modified this value, E is equal to h nu. The value of h nu is equal to, again we can be written as c is equal to lambda into E. So here c is the, h is the Planck's constant value, h is equal to 6.625 into 10 raised to minus 34. The value of c is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, and the value of the lambda, so what here given here, 6000 angstrom. The value of lambda is given here 6000 angstrom. If you are going to reduce this one in a nanometer or maybe in a 7, so it means 600 into 10 raised to minus 10 meter, right? So now it is going to, can also be plus 2 and here plus 10. So it is become what? 6 into 10 raised to minus 8, right? So 6 into 10 raised to minus 8. So it is not a 600, it is 6000. So then it is become 10 raised to minus 7. So plus 3 and minus 10. So it is become minus 7 meter. Okay. So now substitute the value of E. So that is the Coulomb value. E is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 Coulomb. So that is the charge of the electron. So now substitute the value of H. So let us start with the problem. So let us see how we are going to solve here. So the given value is here, lambda is equal to 6000. So this is the given, right? So given 6000 angstrom. So what I am doing is here 6000 into 10 raised to minus 10 meter. So that is angstrom is converted into here meter. So you are already familiar with angstrom is the 10 raised to minus 10 meter. So now what I am going to use 6 into 10 raised to plus 3 into 10 raised to minus 10 meter. So now 6 into 10 raised to plus 3 and minus 10 here minus 7 meter. This is the value of lambda become. Okay. So we know the value of E is equal to h into nu. So this is a familiar equation. So h is constant here. So nu can be written as lambda into E. So here h is the Planck's constant value. So the h value, so that is the standard value, Planck's value 6.625 into 10 raised to minus 34 joules second. The value of c, velocity of light, 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Okay, the given value lambda is already there, 6 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter, and the Coulomb value is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 Coulomb. So now we have to go into what we have to going to observe in the next while going to solving in the problem. So there must be in a SI system. So now all these become in a SI system. Now substitute the value of h, 6.6 into 10 raised to minus 34 into 3 into 10 raised to 8. So divided by lambda value 6 into 10 raised to minus 7 into 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 Coulomb. If we are going to simplify by using the calculator, you get 2.606 electron volt. Okay, so we are going to convert here electron volt. So 2.06 electron volt. So this, therefore, so where is the solution here? 2.06. So that is option D is here right answer. Okay. So next in the next upcoming classes we are going to solve from the 11, 12 and 13. If it is possible, you people also can be try. Okay. So next class will be continued. Thank you.